wife and I, Alexia, ended up running across a website that had a contest. The contest was called What Brew Are You? And it was put on by Wiley Publishing, and Dogfish head Sam Calgione, the owner, put this on for one of Sam's books. And it was $10,000 grand prize and a weekend in Rehoboth with Sam. And spent all Christmas Day last year putting a video together and actually being on site where Brewers is now, in a puddle of mud where there really was just a bunch of footings for the building. So that's kind of where it all started out. And we talked about our green concept, having all these recycled products that I'll get into later, and ended up getting a call from Larry Olson, which is the main marketing of Wiley, and said that we won. So never won anything big like that. I was way overwhelmed, more than I thought I was ever going to be. So it was pretty neat. Just beyond the money, of even winning the money, just meeting Sam and being able to have his feedback, and him being in the industry for so long, and him saying that this is the business plan and the numbers and the projections and the concept that won over everybody else that put forth videos just speaks louder than any money that we could ever gotten. Obviously the money did help, so we appreciate that. We've been using it for some mortgage payments, so that's a good thing. Did I ever think I was going to be this close to a toilet? But it's unique at Brewers. It's a no-flush urinal. Kohler makes it. There's numerous manufacturers out there that make it, and it works surprisingly well. Just an easy, basic concept is you dump water into it and fill up the P-trap, and you add an oil chemical agent to it. And the theory is of oil and water, so the oil stays on the top, and then the water is below it, and the P just passes the oil detergent, and then there's basically no smell, and it just keeps on flowing through. So the benefit is you don't have to plumb any water to it. It's an easy hang, and it saves 40,000 gallons annually a year. Also, right in front of me, all our toilet partitions are all recycled plastic as well. Along with, we have the touchless water faucets, and our bar top and both of our sink vanities are concrete with this has oyster shells in it, and the women's bathroom has like shards of mirror in it, and it's also black, and then the bar top just has a bunch of mixed shells in it. Having the green theme, we've also tried to use as much organics as we possibly could on the menu. We don't have much freezer space, so we don't freeze too much stuff around here, or we don't have a big fryer to fry a lot of things. So we use a lot of fresh products in our kitchen, and we're part of the Sustainable Seafood Corporation, which just makes smart choices on local seafood. Our chef Dan picks up seafood numerous times a week, and we use kind of grass-fed cattle and no hormones and things of that nature, and just try to use as much as we possibly can get in the kitchen. And the customer does notice that, so we're happy to do that, along with our green theme on the front of the house side. Every brewer seems to give their spent grain to cattle these days, which is obviously always a good thing. If we can find a farmer to give it to, there always seems to be a farmer around. So we have Henry Farms on Ladies Island pick up our spent grain, and I've had a relationship with them over the past probably 8 or 10 months, just because I wanted to get that rolling to make sure I didn't have to throw this stuff out. And the first time Brian Henry brought it to the farm, the cattle went pretty crazy. And the second time around, he delivered it in his truck the first time, and the second time in his truck. And they already knew what it was after the second time that he was bringing it to them. And they rammed his truck and just dented it all up. They just knew what it was after just getting it one time, and it was one of the funnier stories I've heard. And I just need to go over there and see it from my own eyes. But he said he's been trying to devise a new way of getting it out there. So they had like an old swimming pool slide, so they fill that up and they take it out on a forklift instead of his truck. But he showed me all the ramming dents from the cattle trying to get at it before he could even get it off his truck. So it was a pretty funny story. Like I mentioned before, we have stacked tanks. I tried to keep the brew house as small as a footprint as I possibly could, and there are not too many brew pubs that have stacked tanks at this point, so it's from a standpoint of at least having 6 beers on tap is a good thing in a smaller footprint. And I think working wise is going to be a little tricky since I'm going to have to do some stuff on a step ladder, but I think it's going to work out good. They're dramatic, they're beautiful behind the glass. It kind of brings your eye up. So I'm happy with the way they turned out. They were very interesting to put in. We had to, when there was nothing in here and there was no walls, basically had to lift one up and roll the other one underneath it, and then set them on top of each other and then bolt them together. So these 3 tanks are filled with our light beer, our oatmeal porter, and our organic pale ale. I wanted to have an organic offering just because we lean heavily on organics as much as we could on the food menu, along with grass-fed beef and chicken and things like that. So I just thought that would be a good staple beer. We also had a beer naming contest for locals in Beaufort. Ended up now being called Paddler's Organic Pale Ale. I don't have a ton of schooling in the brewing field. I always thought that I would rather bug a head brewer to give me a job and have them pay me instead of me going to school and having me put forth the money. And I was really never very good at school either, so I just felt like learning on the job was a lot easier for me to do. Being able to visually see somebody do something and then being able to mimic that. I think when it comes to being able to, I don't know, I guess a touchy-feely brewer more than the analytical side of books and things like that. I think I have a very good gut feeling when it comes to what I want and what customers want, and getting to know my equipment fairly fast and having a short learning curve on that.